In today's FieldLink tutorial, we will be going over the map options, how to use and view your 3D or 2D model within FieldLink, and all of the options you will see on screen. First, let's start at the top right. If I click on this button, it is our zoom extents. It will zoom out over your entire project. So, if I'm zoomed in, I can click this to see all of the data in my FieldLink project. Next, we can open up the zipper and see more views that we have available. Starting from the right, we do have the top-down view option available again. Next, we have our x-axis viewing angle. Next to that is our y-axis elevation view angle. Then finally, we have an isometric view angle. We can also toggle on and off the parallel view versus perspective view with this cube icon. So we will now be in a parallel view as opposed to a perspective view. Directly below our view zipper, we have the toggle between 3D orbit view and pan view. Right now, since you can see a circle with arrows going around it, if I click and drag on the screen, my model will rotate. Versus if I click on my toggle, now I will be in a pan view, so it will take me parallel to that screen. Next on the screen is our zoom slider. We can click and drag this zoom slider up or down to zoom in and out of our project. If you're on a desktop, you can also use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out, or if you're on a tablet, you can pinch your fingers to zoom in and out. Let's move up to the top left. Here we have a ruler icon. This icon is present on most FieldLink menus. We can take measurements from our point data or model data. With the first icon on the left selected, highlighted yellow, we can click on two different points or two different dimensions on our model. Let's clear out and show you how the model works. So, from steel to steel, we get a horizontal distance, a slope distance, and the delta of our x, y, and z. We also get axis. An azimuth, which is the bearing, read in 269 degrees, 26 minutes, and 44 seconds. Next, we have an angular measurement tool. I can click 3 points, with the second being my fulcrum, and get an angle measurement off of those 3 points. Next, we have an area calculation, or volume calculation. I can click as many points as I'd like on the model or from points themselves. And whenever I close it by selecting the last point, it will give me a square footage. Here we have 2,500 square feet within this area. We can also click our cube with an arrow at the bottom of our screen to input a depth, let's say 5 feet. Once we get back out onto our map screen, we will now have a volume of that area. 5 feet deep by 2,500 square feet is 462.988 cubic yards. We also get the readout of that depth as well as the perimeter that we have traced. Finally, we have a down and out measurement. If you have grid lines or control lines on your project, we can select that control line. And finally, click on another point to get how far down that point is and how far out that point is. So our clip here is 71 feet 3/4 inches down this line and 5 1/8 offset from that line. Let's get out of our ruler tool. Next up, we have a notification bell. This will show you all of the background processes that go into FieldLink, so we can see that we loaded a model, loaded a scan job, and loaded a layout job. Next, we have our project management tool within the map menu. Here, we can see the different points files we have active, which we can turn on or off. Important to note, we can only have one points file active at a time. I could have many more listed, but only one is allowed to be on at any given time. We also have scans and all of the models that are present in our project. Next up, we'll open up our info zipper. Here, we have many options available to us. First, we'll click the info button. We can click this button either from in the zipper or while the zipper is closed. If I click on anything within the project, it will give me any pertinent data that is associated to that object. For example, we can see CP4 is on a control layer, and we get an NEZ coordinate for this point. If there are descriptions, we will see these present as well. The same can be said for modeled objects. Here, we see that the entire grouped object is selected. If we have any data behind this, such as weight or price, baked into the CAD data, we can find it in our info button. Let's open the zipper again. Next is the settings wheel on the far left. The settings wheel gives us view options. If we have names checked, the point's names will show up. I can turn it off and only view the point. Next, we have descriptions if available. I do not have descriptions on these points. We can also toggle on and off elevations on each point. Next, we have laid out points. As we do layout on our project, if we uncheck this box, any points that I laid out and shot in will disappear from the screen. This shows us only the points we still have yet to lay out. I can always come back to this checkbox in order to bring those points back onto my map screen. Next up, we have the scale bar option. We can uncheck this to turn off our yellow floating scale bar at the bottom of our screen. This scale bar changes depending on how zoomed in we are on a project. As you can see, this wall is roughly 8 feet long per our scale bar. Our scale bar will shift as we zoom in and match the scale of the drawing. Next up, we have the solid model option. If I uncheck this box, our model becomes a wireframe, so we can see through it very easily. This can be very handy if you're trying to find points that are inside of objects, such as center of pipe, or that might be buried in concrete if the concrete is modeled. Similarly, when we turn on the solid model, we have options for transparency. I can click to turn different gradients so I can see through more or less through my solid model. This tool is very handy, and I typically at least keep my model turned on to this third box. Moving down, we have different options for our background screen. We can turn it black, white, or turn it into an architectural blue model. We can also click this circular button on the right in order to change it to different pastel colors. This can help visibility in case you have colorblind issues or you can't see the screen because of lighting. Finally, we have points and models down here. If I click points, this box becomes white and all of my points will disappear from the screen. Similarly, if I click model, all of my models will turn off, so I'm just viewing point data. If all of your points have disappeared and you can't find them on your job, keep in mind your points button may have been turned off, or perhaps you don't have the points file selected on your project. Let's go back into our info zipper. Next, we have layers. We will skip the layers for now, as this will be a video in and of itself. Next, we have the section box option. Here, we can see that I already have a section box created, or we can create our own section box. It will automatically snap a section box to the outer perimeter of all of our data. We can use the 6 arrows on the top, bottom, and sides of our box to cut off the project to see only the data we would like to view. For example, I can cut off all of this data, and let's say I just want to see the top slab of my project. Now I've cut it all off, and I can turn this section box on or off just by clicking on it. This top button will revert the section box to the full extent of the project, while this button, the plus, will add a new section box. If you have a section box selected already, it will start a new section box from this view, so it will duplicate it and you can easily make your new section box. We next have the pencil at the top. Here, I can put in a section view name so I can label it per the drawings for easier reference, and I can key in a specific top elevation of the section box and a bottom elevation of the section box if I have that information available. Once I edit any of this, I can hit save or cancel. Now I have a floor 3 section box, and finally I can delete it if I don't want to use that anymore. Back into our info button, finally, we have the model management menu. We can see all of the models that are present in our project, and we can click on them and highlight them to see which modeled objects are part of that model. We can edit this. Please see our map manipulation video to learn how to use this tool, or we could come in and delete a specific model with our trash can. I can also toggle on and off visibility with the eyeball button for either of my models. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video.